Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you the start of my diary entry for the week of December 17th through 23rd. Today is Monday, December 18th. So I did skip again yesterday, but that is because the Vlogmas video took 10 hours about to get all done. So from start to finish, it took 10 hours, and that didn't include the processing time with YouTube. That just was importing, editing, exporting, uploading. That all took 10 hours. So by the time it was done uploading, it was already 12:30. So I was like, I'm not going to do a check-in. So I'm doing a check-in for 2 days today. So you can see I have my Vanessa Advent here. I've got my Yarn Advent here, Manga Advent, even though we are just collecting volumes at this point because, like I said before, the Monaco Manga Club meeting is on Thursday, so I need to get those read first. And then we have the Yankee Candle Advent. So as per usual, let's do the Yankee Candle Advent first and get the big box out of the way. So we are doing the 17th and 18th. So let's see what we've got here. That is green. That looks like the right color for balsam and cedar. Yeah, I think that's balsam and cedar. So that's great. And then today's is Christmas cookie. So I pretty much just use these to warm wax melts on a tea light warmer because I'm not a bakery melter. So that's great. Usable wax melt there for sure. Okay. Now let's do my Yarn Advent calendar. So this is the 31 Residents of Haunted Mansion Yarn Advent calendar from Fangirl Fibers. So let's see who our resident for yesterday was. Okay, that says Granny Ghoul. In life, this woman was a Peoria socialite and silent movie vamp. She had died by the middle of the 20th century and retired as a ghost to the Haunted Mansion. Quickly taking to this new milieu, she already found mortals odd and slightly frightening by 1969, when she was interviewed about the imminent opening of the mansion to mortals as part of the Disneyland theme park. As a ghost, she usually sits in an armchair by the ghostly green fire in the Great Hall. When pressed to move, she does so by levitating inside her chair rather than ever getting up. So that is Granny Ghoul. And I'm not quite sure where she is. There's a picture. I presume that's in the where the lady who blows out her candles is. I think, but I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, it kind of looks like that's where she would be. So let's see what the colorway looks like. We were in grays and purples with the slightest tinge of pink. So let's see where we are today. And we are definitely fully into purples right now with lots of gray tones. So this is a gray leaning purple skein. You can see some brighter hints of orchid in these areas here, but it's mostly a gray leaning purple skein. I'm really liking these like pops of orchid in here. It's still a tonal, but this is going to look really nice next to the skein that we got from yesterday. There's even a few like really dark magenta hits in here. Some slight speckles and things like that. So that's going to be really nice. So that is Granny Ghoul. And today's resident is... Okay, so this is the hallway knight. So the hallway knight was one of the 2 new ghosts created for the Haunted Mansion's 50th anniversary overlay in 2019 alongside the Gossip Ghost in the ballroom and played by the live cast members. Though presumably inspired by the pre-existing Night of the Living Dead live character, the hallway knight wears a distinctly different armor and is thus best seen as a new character. It is unclear whether the knight is meant to be one of the mansion's 999 regulars or a foreign ghost come to call for the anniversary. So that is the hallway knight. I don't believe I've ever seen anybody play the knight. I've seen the the suit of armor move and stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen the knight move. So that's interesting. So let's see what this skein looks like for today. Oh, and we're bringing back the blues. So a much lighter skein from yesterday's. These are definitely more burgundy tones than purples. But I think next to the purple skein, it might lean a little bit purple. And I'm loving these really dark blues. Kind of a teal leaning navy, I would say. In what I'm seeing anyway. I'm not quite sure how it's coming across on camera. But it is a gorgeous dark blue color. And yeah, we've still got some like light lavender and light blue tones in here. This one is very variegated. And so, yes, that is the hallway knight. So that is my yarn advents for the last 2 days. I'm still working away on my sweater. I put in one more resident last night while we were watching Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny on Disney+. So I'm hoping to put a few more rows in tonight. Maybe 2 more residents, but we'll just have to see. So let's do my Vanessa Advents for yesterday and today. So yesterday's will be this one. And it is another skein of yarn. So this is a gorgeous, like, nature, kind of grassy color. This is Heathered Handmaids in the color Variant. You've definitely got those grass greens and like these off-whites and dark brown speckles in here. So that is going to be really, really nice. I think this will pair nicely with the earlier skein, the very first one that I got, which was like a Christmas tree green. Was it spruce? No, spruce was Hue Loco. But I know there was an like Christmas tree type green in one of these skeins. So I think this one would actually look really nice with that one. So that is Variant from Heathered Handmaids. And then today's packet. Oh, it's more wax. This is Destination Wax, Eucalyptus Tea, Eucalyptus, Spearmint, and Lemon. I have not tried this one, so I'm really excited for it. Definitely sounds right down my alley. Vanessa knows me very well, so let's take a whiff. Oh, that's nice. It kind of reminds me of a body care item or maybe a body spray from when I was younger. That kind of reminds me of that. But that is nice. I'm really looking forward to melting this one. So thanks so much, Vanessa. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Manga Advent. So the theme is first in this series selections that my daughter thinks I will enjoy. So let's see what volumes I have for today and tomorrow. Don't recognize that. Okay, so we've got What He Who Doesn't Believe in Fate Says. So I believe this one is a romance about a guy who doesn't believe in the red string of fate. I think that's what this one is about. It says, Don't get tied up by destiny. Kosuke can see the red string of fate that connects soulmates. Unfortunately, he's fallen in love with Yuka, and her string clearly doesn't lead to him. He hides his feelings for her until one day a fortune teller lets Yuka know that her destined lover is nearby, and she thinks it's Kosuke. Could this finally be the windfall for Kosuke's unrequited love? Can he stop destiny? So yes, I am really looking forward to this one, actually. And it's nice and thin, so that will help a lot. So this one is by Omu the Rice and is published by 7 Seas Rated Teen. So yes, excited for this one. And then we have, The Ice Guy and the Cool Girl by Miyuki Tonogaya. So this one is published by Square Enix Manga Rated Teen. This one says, I'm going to turn it around. Sparks fly between the handsome descendant of a snow spirit and his oblivious crush in this co-workers to lovers romantic comedy. Himuro is a modern-day ice god, an ordinary office worker who just so happens to have snow spirit powers. He's also besotted with his aloof co-worker, Fuyutsuki. At first glance, the pair both seem to be calm, cool, and collected, but beneath Himuro's icy good look rages a passionate blizzard of love. On the other hand, Fuyutsuki's cool facade belies nothing about any feelings she might have for Himuro in return, because she's too oblivious to realize anything. What's a snowman in love to do? So this one sounds fun. And I believe my daughter said that Fuyutsuki means winter moon. She says if it's written the way she thinks it is, yes. So obviously this is translated into English, so I don't actually have the characters for her to refer to, but I am definitely looking forward to this one. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And so, yes, these two I'm really looking forward to, but they will have to wait until my manga club meeting is done before I can catch up. So I think this puts me now 6 volumes behind. 6 volumes behind. But like I said, both of these are pretty thin, so it shouldn't take me too long to read. And so it shouldn't be too bad. So that's everything I've got to share with you today. I'm going to go have some dinner now, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. Bye. Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday, December 19th, and I'm here for my check-in. So today felt much better at work. All of my clients have their packets, so I just need them to send it back to me before the end of the year. So that is great. I'm feeling a lot more relaxed. I was able to get off work a little earlier, though not as early as I need to. But earlier is better, and so yes, I am feeling pretty good at the moment. So we have some openings to do today. I have my Yarn Advent Calendar opening, my Vanessa Advent. I have another Manga Advent packet because I doubled up yesterday. So this is today's packet, today's and tomorrow's. So this will put me 8 volumes behind. But that's okay. That's okay. I've got a few days coming up that I'll be off, so hopefully I'll be able to catch up, especially since I won't need to focus on the Monica Manga Club selections. And then we have the Yankee Candle Advent. So let's do that first. We are on day 19, so let's see what's in here. It is a red one. Beautiful red color. I think that's red apple wreath. It's hard to smell this particular one, and I can't pull it out. But I'm pretty sure it's red apple wreath, because we haven't had one of those in a while. But yes, so that is great. I did use one of the Christmas cookie tea lights to melt some wax in my room. So those tea lights are getting used, even though not really my smell preference. So let's move this out of the way. Okay, so let's do our Resident of the Haunted Mansion Yarn Advent Calendar from Fangirl Fibers and see who our resident is for today. Okay, so this says William Gracie. Let me just even this out a little bit. So, according to a story once told by the ghost host to a treasure hunter, his mortal identity of Master Gracie was originally William Gracie, first mate of Randall Pace's merchant ship, the Pomona. After a betrayal by his captain, Gracie beheaded him and took control of the ship, amassing a great fortune as the pirate captain Blood. Eventually, he decided to cast his past behind and use his loot to retire in New Orleans, buying an old mansion and making it his own. So this is the owner of the haunted mansion. As you can see, this is very grayscale here. I would not be surprised if we're going towards gray, which will make it really interesting considering my main color on my sweater is gray. There have already been some sections where some gray speckles or gray sections in the variegated skeins have kind of looked very similar to the gray that I'm using for my main color. So it will be interesting to see where this goes. So let's see what the skein looks like. Oh, we're still in the purples. Much more of a mauve color, I would say, though still leaning purple. And much more variegated. You can definitely see the different tones from light to dark in this skein. So we're not gray yet, but this is lovely. It's also got a few little, it looks like dark brown speckles. There's like a black speckle right here. So yes, very, very lightly speckled though, but a very tonal, like mauve colored skein. So interesting. I was able to put one resident into my sweater last night, as well as one section of main color. So I'm feeling pretty good about the sweater. It's looking amazing, and I'm really, really excited to see where it's going to be once I open all of these skeins and get them put in, because the colors have been interesting. I haven't expected a lot of the colors that we've gotten. And so, yes, very happy with this. Let's do my Vanessa Advent for the day. So this is a Advent calendar that my friend Vanessa over at the Crafty Planty Life podcast sent me. And it looks like this is a piece of wax. It is. This is Yankee Candle's Cranberry Chutney. This is very, very famous amongst wax tubers that I have heard talk about this. I will say that I have smelled cranberry chutney before, and when I smelled it before, it did smell a little plasticky to me, but I smelled it in a different configuration. So I'm interested to see what the wax plug type melt smell like. And so let's give it a whiff. That doesn't smell plastic to me. How interesting. I have an issue with a lot of berry scents that come across as plastic to me. Almost 95%, I would say, of anything that has a berry scent, strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, smells plasticky to me. Cranberry. But I'm not smelling plastic with this, which is interesting because I just told you that I had smelled cranberry chutney before in a different configuration. I think it was the centerpiece wax scent cup is the scent cup. And it definitely had that plastic cranberry smell to me, but this doesn't smell like that. Very interesting. Oh, I'm excited to try this again. This is very, very well beloved amongst several people who talk about wax on YouTube. And it made me sad that I wasn't able to enjoy it as much as they did. But now I'll be able to try it again. So I'm really, really glad that my friend Vanessa sent this one to me so that I can retry the scent. So thanks so much, Vanessa. I really appreciate it. And then last of all, for our check-in for today, I have my Manga Advent Calendar. So 2 volumes of manga in here. Daughter says the theme of this packet is new to me manga. So these are series that she is interested in, that she would like to try, and she thinks that I would enjoy as well. So neither of us have read either of the series that are in this packet. So let's see what's inside. Oh, I just lied to you. That I did. So she didn't explain to me exactly the way that I had thought that she meant it. But this is Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Stories of Water and Flame, story and art by Ryoji Hirano, and original concept by Koyoharu Gotoge. We did read the entirety of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba for the Monochrome Manga Club this year, and I really enjoyed it. It was a surprise. I did not think that I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, especially because of all of the hype that is surrounding that series. But it was really, really fun to read with the Monochrome Manga Club, and I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I read it with the club because it was definitely one of those series that surprised me this year. So this, I believe, is a short story collection, and it is a manga. You can kind of tell there. I'm not going to open it up. So yes, I'm really, really excited to read some more about the characters in this series. And if you know about Rengoku. So yes, excited for this one. And then the other volume is Yorha, Pearl Harbor Descent Record, Volume 1, original concept by Yoko Taro and art by Megumu Soramichi. So this one is a Nier Automata story. My daughter has played some of the first game, I believe. This one's published by Square Enix. Rated older teen. Demon Slayer is rated teen. So this, I believe, happens in a world where it's like kind of post-apocalyptic, I think, and there are robot people or androids, and we follow this character here, this woman. At least I've seen my daughter play this woman in the game. So it says, the manga series set in the universe of the award-winning action RPG game Nier Automata. The distant future, invaders from another world attack without warning, unleashing a new type of threat, weapons known as machine lifeforms. In the face of this insurmountable peril, mankind is driven from Earth and takes refuge on the moon. It is the year 11,941, and the long war against the machines rage on. In an attempt to break the deadlock, the Council of Humanity forms a new infantry unit of female androids, Yorha. Deployed to the planet's surface, these soldiers now fight to recapture Earth for the glory of mankind. So we are following some female androids, so I presume our character here is a female android. And so, yeah, really interested to get into this one. Kind of curious about the Pearl Harbor Descent record. How Pearl Harbor plays into this. Does this story take place in Pearl Harbor? That would be really interesting because if you know about me, you know that I grew up in Hawaii on Oahu, and so I know Pearl Harbor. But yeah, very interested to start this one. I also have a few light novels in this series as well that I have not yet read. But like I said, I've watched my daughter play a little bit of the video game, not too much. But I thought the world looked interesting, and so I'm looking forward to trying this series out because that type of video game is not my type of play style. But I'm very interested in the world that the story takes place in. And like I said, I thought it was interesting. So looking forward to this one. So these two are going to be very interesting. One in a world set that's familiar to me and another in a world that's not so familiar to me, but I have a little bit of knowledge of and am interested in. So looking forward to these. Now these will be added to my pile. Like I said, 8 volumes behind at this point, but I'll eventually get caught up. I will. So that is all of my openings for today. So tomorrow is supposedly my last day of work before Christmas. Hopefully my boss doesn't tell me he needs me to work because, like I said, I did exchange my day from last week for this week. So we'll see about that. Everything should be much smoother now that I've got all of the packets out to our customers. And so, yeah, it's all in their hands. I just need them to send it back to me, but doesn't have to be till next week. So I'm feeling really good about where I am with work. I am going to go have a little bit of dinner now. We're going to watch 2 Days and One Night, which is a Korean variety show that we really enjoy. And I am going to try to put another resident into my Haunted Mansion sweater. So I hope you're having an amazing Tuesday. It is raining here, which makes me all the more happy. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, December 20th, and I'm here with my check-in. Just got off of work. It is 7:40 p.m. I did work an extra long day just to make sure that I got, caught up on stuff so that I can take this nice Christmas break without having to worry about the pileup next week. So as of right now, I am off for the next 6 days. Feels really, really good. And so I can relax now. I feel like I can relax. But yeah, I'm here to do my Advent openings. So we've got my Vanessa Advent, we've got my Yarn Advent, and the Yankee Candle Advent. So we are on day 20. So that is this one right here. Let me move into frame. Another red one. That kind of looks like frosty gingerbread. Let's see. Yep, it smells like frosty gingerbread. So that's great. I did burn one today. I burned this one. This is Red Apple Wreath. So that was nice. And so let me move this out of the way. And let's do my Resident of the Haunted Mansion. So this is my 31 Residents of the Haunted Mansion Yarn Advent Calendar from Fangirl Fibers. So let's see who our resident is for today. I was wondering when these guys were going to show up. So this is Quicksand Men. The Quicksand Men were a trio of well-dressed 19th century people who died in the peculiar manner of standing in a totem pole as they slowly, unwittingly sunk into the quicksand below. They drowned in the quicksand, but their ghosts live on in the Haunted Mansion, their fate memorialized in one of the stretching portraits. So this is one of the portraits in the stretching room, and very iconic for me. And so, yeah, again, though, with these like more brownish tones. So I'm very curious to see what today's skein will look like. And it looks like, we're definitely getting darker tones of gray. I would even say that this section is a light black. But we've got some really gorgeous dark teals in here as well. And some periwinkles, kind of purpley leaning blues in there. I really like this one as well. I'm very curious to see what this one's going to look like with my main color being that it's gray. And there are definitely some tones in here, like in this section here, that look very close to the main color I'm using. But really loving how we're getting very dark towards the end of the sweater. So I did put in one more resident into my sweater last night. So hoping to get another resident in tonight, though it is on the later side and I still have to have dinner. But yeah, really, really like this skein. So that is Quicksand Men. And then the last thing that I have to open with you today is my Vanessa Advent. So this one is from my friend Vanessa over at the Crafty Planty Life podcast. And so let's see what we've got in this package. Oh, it's a piece of wax. Oh, rose geranium. I really, really like rose geranium. I had a sample earlier this year and I used it and it was glorious. It's definitely on my list to purchase when I make my next destination wax order. So now I've got another cube to use. This is awesome. Thanks so much, Vanessa. And so that is everything that I have got for today. So like I said, I'm off for the next 6 days. Tomorrow I have the Monochrome Manga Club meeting. So we're doing our meeting online. But other than that, I really got no plans. So looking forward to just some nice rest and relaxation. doing some knitting, getting more residence into my sweater. And yeah, I am really behind with my Manga Advent Calendar. In fact, tomorrow we're going to be opening another packet, but I'm still reading Monochrome Manga Club selections. So last night I read A Sign of Affection, Volume 1. And so tonight I will read Mr. Villain's Day Off. And then tomorrow sometime I will read the 3 volumes of Fullmetal Alchemist before the meeting. And so, yeah, I think that's all I've got for right now. It has started to rain kind of heavily. And I love the sound of rain. I love the smell of rain. I love rain in general. And so it's a really great end to my work day. And that's pretty much all I've got for you for the moment. So I will catch you tomorrow. Hi everyone, it is Thursday, December 21st, and I'm here to do my check-in for the day. It is almost 10 o'clock. We just finished our Manga Club meeting in the Monochrome Manga Club Discord, and so I thought I'd check in now since I've got my face on and do my Advent openings with you right now. So I have the Yankee Candle Advent, I've got my Yarn Advent, got a Vanessa Advent, and then we have one more Manga Advent packet to open. Now that I have finished reading all of the Monochrome Manga Club selections, I can get back to reading the Manga Advent Calendar selections, and I'm really excited because there are a lot of titles in the stack that I have opened so far that I'm really interested in getting to. So let's get through the biggest thing first, the Yankee Candle Tea Light Advent. So we're on day 21, which is here. We've got a green one. I believe this is the color for mistletoe. Yep, that's mistletoe. So we've got mistletoe here. I've got a nice little collection of tea lights going. I've also got a little piece of plastic from the inside that just broke off. So that is great. Okay, let's do our Yarn Advent. So this is my Yarn Advent calendar for Fangirl Fibers. Let's see who our resident of the Haunted Mansion is for today. Okay, so the character is Victor Geist. I think that's what it says. Victor Geist was a human man and an organist of Germanic origins in life. It is unknown how he died, but when he did, he ended up in the Haunted Mansion, playing the large and ominous pipe organ in the ballroom, in which a choir of screaming heads known as the Organ Banshees nest like so many bizarre bats. So that is Victor Geist. And again, this is in the room that you go into right after you visit Madame Leota. So that is great. And our skein looks like... it is a pinky purple tonal color again. This looks very similar to one we had earlier. I have a feeling this is more pink though. Not sure. I won't be sure until I get them right next to each other. But I know we had a similar color that I put in maybe a couple rows back. But yes, I did put in one more resident last night. I haven't gotten any knitting done yet today because I've been trying to catch up with my Monochrome Manga Club selections. And so, yes, I'm hoping to get at least one more resident in. I probably won't be able to get a main stripe in also though. But yes, Victor Geist is our character for the day. Vanessa Advent here. So this is from my friend Vanessa over at the Crafty Planty Life podcast. So let's see what's in this packet. And it's a piece of wax. So this one is from Sassy Girl Aroma. It's called Wash Your Hair, Coriander, Eucalyptus, Lavender, Sweet Orange, Bergamot, and Ylang Ylang. So I have not tried this one, so this is going to be very fun. Let's see. Oh, definitely smells like shampoo. I don't know what kind of shampoo though, but it's nice. kind of smells very herbally, which just in general makes me think of herbal essences, though I haven't used herbal essences in years. But yeah, definitely smells like shampoo. That's so interesting. So thanks a lot, Vanessa. I'm definitely going to try that one out. And my warmer probably in the bathroom, though, considering it smells like shampoo. So the bathroom warmer is the best place to have smells like that, I think. So very, very thankful. Thanks, Vanessa. And then we've got my manga advent. So there are 2 volumes of manga in here. These will put me 10 volumes behind. I think so. Daughter says that these 2 volumes correlate to a series that I just completed. And so I will tell you that we just completed Persona 4 for the Monochrome Manga Club. We finished talking about Persona 4 this evening. And I presume that the 2 volumes in here are volumes 3 and 4 of Persona 3. Because last year in the Manga Advent Calendar, she gave me volumes 1 and 2. So I didn't want to read the 2 series together since we were reading Persona 4 for the Monochrome Manga Club. So I would think that now that we're done with Persona 4, she wants me to continue with Persona 3. So I think this is Persona 3. Let's see if I'm correct in my thought. It's not what I thought, I don't think. These are not what I thought. So this is Persona 4 Arena, volumes 1 and 2. These are still wrapped in plastic, which means my daughter has not read them yet. Which I am surprised that she's letting me read them before her, because Persona volumes that I buy are usually for her, since I have not really, read from the series besides Persona 4 for the Manga Club and Persona 3 I started last year in the Manga Advent Calendar. But we recently picked these up, I think. So this is the cast of Persona 3 and Persona 4 collide. So it says, in Volume 1, a dormant anti-shadow suppression weapon named Labrys has been stolen. Mitsuru Kirijo and I just begin investigating its whereabouts. Meanwhile, Yu Narukami, which is hilarious because that's not the name they use for him in Persona 4, returns to Inaba to reunite with his friends, the investigation team. What he finds waiting for him is a strange fighting tournament held inside the TV world. So that is interesting. So we've got Volume 1 of Persona 4 Arena and Volume 2 of Persona 4 Arena. So, like I mentioned just a little while ago, Persona 3, I've only read 2 volumes. I read Volumes 1 and 2. These characters do not look familiar to me. I am not sure. So, yeah, though this kind of looks like Teddy. I'm not sure. But yeah, it'll be really interesting. And I'm really surprised that my daughter's going to let me read this before her. So yeah, really interested to continue with characters from Persona 4. I did really enjoy Persona 4, and I'll get to talking to you more about that series on Saturday. So yes, these will be my 2 volumes for the Manga Advent Calendar. And yeah, very, very surprised. Definitely not what I thought when she told me that it was related to a series that we just finished. But I'm still very interested in reading those volumes. So I think that's everything for today. I was off today and it was glorious. And so I am going to probably play a little bit of Genshin Impact before I do my knitting and have some dessert because I've already had dinner. And then I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Hope you're having a great one.
Hi everyone, it is Friday, December 22nd, and I'm here to do my Advent openings with you. Today was not really a relaxing day. It is continuing to rain on and off, which I am appreciating. I did put in a couple of rows into my Haunted Mansion sweater. But other than that, I've been winding yarn so that I have the yarn ready to put into my sweater from all of the skeins that I have left to put into the sweater. And then I just filmed my TBR game for January, at least the gameplay portion. I will film the video portion tomorrow when I film all of the rest of my videos for the week. So yeah, it's about 6:30 at the moment, and I'm gonna do these Advent openings with you, then I'm probably gonna do some video game time, and then I'll get back to my sweater. I think that's gonna be the plan for this evening. So we have my yarn Advent calendar here. We have my Vanessa Advent here for my friend Vanessa over at the Crafty Planty Life podcast. And then we have my Yankee Candle Advent. So let's do this one as per usual since it's the largest. And so today is the 22nd, and we have, this looks like balsam and clove. Yes, definitely looks like balsam and clove. And it is balsam and clove, so that is great. So let's get this out of the way. Okay, let's do our resident of the Haunted Mansion for the day and see who our resident is. Okay, we've got George Hightower. So it says George Hightower was a rich 19th century businessman who came to purchase the Haunted Mansion when its reputation as a dwelling of phantoms and spirits wasn't yet established. He unfortunately caught the eye of serial Black Widow Constance Hatchaway, whom he married in 1877, becoming the fifth husband whom Constance would have beheaded on the wedding night. After one last failed attempt at marriage, Constance decided to stop her tally there and move into the mansion, making George her final husband. So we've definitely seen a take on this portrait in the axe-wielding bride's room. So yes, very iconic scene there. So let's see what our skein looks like for today. We've got those moody blues again. Gorgeous. So definitely some navies in here, but there's also some purpley tones in here, and lots of like steel blue, very gray leaning there, some dark charcoal colors, and lots more gray as well. So really like this skein. I would say it's a darker version of a skein that we had earlier, and I really like this one. So that is George Hightower. And then the last opening I have to share with you today is my Vanessa Advent. So let's see what's in this little packet. Oh, we've got a piece of wax. So this is Rocky Mountain Pine from Destination Wax, Balsam, Colorado White Fir, Blue Spruce, Red Cedar, and Berries. I believe I have had this one before, and I enjoy this one a lot. So thanks so much, Vanessa. I'm glad to have more of this. Let me take a whiff. Yep, really enjoy that one. It's definitely tree with just the slightest bit of berries. I really enjoy that. I'm looking forward to melting this one. So thanks a lot, Vanessa. And that is everything that I have to share with you for today. Like I said, I think I'm going to be playing a little bit of Genshin Impact here in a moment. And then after I do that, I will definitely be settling in on the couch and putting in more stripes in my sweater, or I should say more residents of the Haunted Mansion into my sweater, as now I am all wound up for the rest of the days that I had opened. And so, yeah. In any case, I hope you're having an amazing night or day, and I will chat with you tomorrow.
Hi everyone, it is Saturday, December 23rd, and I am here to wrap up the week. So, as far as reading goes, there's quite a bit to catch you up on there. I do have my advent calendar openings to share with you, as well as my knitting progress. So because there is quite a bit to get through, let's get through it. So this week I mainly focused on the Monochrome Manga Club selections, which were these. So I did just finish filming my video for the 2 first in the series selections, A Sign of Affection and Mr. Villain's Day Off. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on these, that video should have gone up on Monday. So I will try to link it down in the description box below. So I won't be talking to you about these here, but I will tell you that I did give both of them 4 stars. I also completed all of these. So we finished Persona 4 with the club by reading volumes 11, 12, and 13. I really enjoyed this series. These are by Shuji, Sogabe, and ATLUS, published by Udon Entertainment. I would say these are rated teen. So this is a murder mystery series about a group of teens who find out about the Midnight Channel, and they're able to access a world inside the television, and they get caught up in trying to solve a mystery of these murders that seem to be connected to this Midnight Channel. I really, really enjoyed the series. I didn't think that I would not enjoy the series because I have already watched the anime adaptation and really enjoyed that. I thought that everything seemed pretty close to the anime. So if you have not the access to this series in the manga format, definitely check out the anime adaptation, because from what I remember watching the anime adaptation, it has been years, but from what I remember seeing in the adaptation, this is very, very close. And my understanding from talking to the Monochrome Manga Club members about this is that this is the true ending of the story that you can get from playing the game. Several of the members have played the game, so there's a lot of insight that they have about that experience and how the story is played out in the manga versus the experience they get by playing the game. I really enjoyed the series. I do feel like the ending is a little bit unsatisfactory for me, just because I don't understand why certain things had ended the way it did. But overall, I really enjoyed the series, and I gave it 4 stars. All 3 of these volumes I gave 4 stars. I will give the entire series 4 stars. Really, really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend. It is available on Hoopla for me. So if you have access to Hoopla through your library, definitely check to see if it's available for you to borrow there. But yes, really enjoyed the series and definitely recommend it. I know some of our members have been talking about the volumes in our Discord. So if you'd like to chat with some of them there, you definitely can. And like I said, a lot of them have experience playing the game. So some of the things that they talk about is their experience of playing the story in the game versus how it's laid out in the manga. So if that's interesting to you, or if you'd just like to share your thoughts or have questions about what happened in the series, definitely join us in the Discord that's linked down in the description box below. So we also finished Fullmetal. This I'm still really, really enjoying. We are so close to the end. We've got about 6 volumes left. I really enjoyed learning about Hohenheim's backstory, and we got a lot more insight into that and how the creatures that are in this series were created. And I think I'm going to say it like that because I don't want to be too spoilery. We definitely have more like conspiracies being uncovered and more people getting in on the know. And it's just really, really interesting. And I am looking forward to finishing this one up in February. Like I said, 6 more volumes and then we'll be done with this one. I gave this one 4 stars as well. Really enjoying our read through of that series. And then the only other thing that I was able to read outside of the Monochrome Manga Club selections was Dinosaur Sanctuary Volume 2 by Itaru Kinoshita, research consultant Shin-Ichi Fujiwara, published by Seven Seas, rated teen. So this is a series about a dino zoo. A little bit like Jurassic Park, but the dinosaurs are much more like calm. It's actually like a zoo. Like you see the lives of the zookeepers and what they do, cleaning out the pens, feeding the dinos, interacting with people who come to the park, and other things like how scientifically, based on research, some of the dinos and the way that they sit or the way that they act is based in science. And so all of that is very interesting. In between the chapters, you definitely get long essays from Shinichi Fujiwara about why certain things were drawn the way they were, and gives you some information on dinosaurs that are being featured in the story. So I really, really enjoyed this one. We got an answer to what happened to the character that we're following. She is kind of a new dino keeper, and just learning the ropes about this zoo. Her father was also in the business, but he had died, and kind of at the end of the first volume, you find out how he died, but you don't get all of the answers. You get all of the answers at the beginning of this volume. And so this one follows a couple different scenarios. One of them involving this Triceratops with the horn that is chopped off. We deal with a geriatric T-Rex and trying to get them to be interested in getting some fresh air, I guess you could say. And a brand new baby dino and how they raise them and what they're doing to raise them a little bit and train them and things like that. So I really enjoy this series. Definitely, if you're a fan of Jurassic Park, I think you'd enjoy this one, but this doesn't have the same like scare factor. It's definitely more of a relaxed zoo type environment with a little bit of hairy moments, I guess you could say. So really enjoyed this one. 4 stars. Definitely looking forward to more volumes in that one. And that's everything that I completed reading this week. So I am in the middle of 2 things. One of them being Volume 2 of Yakuza Fiancé. And this is story and art by Asuka Konishi. Published by Seven Seas, rated older teen. So this is about the betrothal of our 2 characters here on the cover. Their grandfathers made an agreement to have their grandchildren marry so that they can bring the families together. And so they have just met in the first volume. They're getting to know each other. And now there's a mystery as somebody has been kidnapped. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on with that. I am very, very new into this volume. I only read about this much before I passed out last night. This is part of my Manga Advent Calendar, as was this. So I'm just starting to catch up now. And so, yeah, hoping to finish this volume this evening. I'm also about 75 or 80% done with Borrowed Boyfriend by Paige Powers. This is a contemporary romance story that follows a boy named Noah who's trans, and he has just come to this school. He wants to make sure people know that he's a man, and so he's looking to join a club that will help promote that thought. And in looking at the clubs that are available at the time that he transfers to the school, there aren't very many. And so the one club that looks even remotely like what he's looking for is called the Football and Lamborghini Club. So he decides to see if he can check out that club. He is told beforehand that it is very hard to become a member, that there is a screening that he needs to pass in order to get on the roster. And so he's like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it because none of the other clubs will help me with what I'm trying to accomplish. And so he goes and tries to gets screened for this club and then finds out that the club is not actually a football and Lamborghini club, but it is the Borrow a Boyfriend Club. And they actually rent out the services of their members to other people in need of companionship for like dates or dances or for whatever else they might need a companion for. There are lots of rules and all of this and that. It's very much the concept of Ouran High School Host Club, if you're familiar with that anime and manga series by Bisco Hattori. But that's pretty much the only like touch on the series. The stories are completely different. The only thing that's being borrowed from Ouran, I would say, is the whole borrow a boyfriend thing. I will tell you that I was interested in reading this one because I was watching a video on YouTube where there was somebody ranking the Genshin characters, Genshin Impact characters, as if they were band members. So if you didn't know, I played in the band. I played in the marching band. I played in orchestra. And so I was very interested to see which instruments these two people had thought the Genshin characters would play and how they would like classify them as a band member. I will tell you, I disagreed with a lot of the conclusions they made, but one of the people that was on that video was the voice of Toma from Genshin Impact. And he had talked about just finishing up recording the audiobook for this book. And he had mentioned that it is like an Ouran High School Host Club type of thing. And so that immediately got my attention. I put it on my want to read list. I went and put myself on the wait list for Libby. And it got released to me this month. So I'm almost done with the book. I will say I'm a bit lackluster about it. It's not very compelling for me. I'm not behind the couple. I'm not impressed with Noah's parents either. I want to just kick them in the butt. But I'm almost done. So we'll see how this ends up. Fun fact, I believe the author of this book is also a Genshin Impact player. So I don't know if that is why the voice of Toma was casted for the audiobook. But yeah, both of them are Genshin like related. And so, yeah, you know me. You know that I don't read a lot of romance. And it takes a lot for me to enjoy a romance series. And one of those things is that I have to be behind the couple. And I'm just not. I'm just not with this one. I would have much preferred a story about Noah's journey without the romantic element. But even that is kind of a far reach for me because I don't read a lot of contemporary. But I will say that I do believe that I would have enjoyed the story more if the focus wasn't on this borrowed boyfriend club. So, yeah. I will finish this one up next week. And so definitely by the end of the year, I'll have this one finished up. And I'll talk to you about my final thoughts on it in next week's diary entry. I will tell you that I do have one more thing that I need to read before the end of the year. And that is to complete my Year in Eldia readathon, which is a side readathon that is for the Aurelium Magical readathon that I participated in this year. I just need to finish something with fire in the title in order to get my ability to turn into a phoenix. And so I have been on the search to find something that I can read before the end of the year that has fire in the title. I think I found something, so I will hopefully have that for you in next week's diary entry as well. Besides what I need to read for my manga advent calendar, I will tell you that at this point, I don't believe that I will be able to finish all of the titles that I have pulled for my manga advent calendar this year. But I will be finishing them up definitely in the month of January. So I will still be reading all of the volumes that I unwrapped this month. And so there's that. A little bit unhappy that I won't be able to finish the volumes in the month as I did last year, but what can you do, right? So with that being said, let us open my advents. So let's do my yarn advent calendar first, my resident of the Haunted Mansion, and see who our resident is for today. We've got the Hatbox Ghost. So, very iconic character. The Hatbox Ghost is an elderly, crotchety-looking ghost and one of the happy haunts residing in the Haunted Mansion. The Hatbox Ghost is an expert at navigating the endless stairways, a network connecting haunted locations all over the world, giving him special knowledge of said worldwide haunted locations. He takes his name from the hat boxes he collects with enthusiasm, and most especially from the one he carries with his person at all times. It seems Hattie died by decapitation, as he can teleport his skull into the box as a ghoulish trick. So, again, very iconic character. We've got a grayscale look to the Hatbox Ghost here. So, very curious to see what these last skeins look like. So, our skein looks like... Oh, that is a gorgeous, almost green-leaning blue. Definitely looks a little tealy, but I really, really love that color. It is tonal, but very slightly tonal. And I do definitely see more like sections of a greenish type of blue, like in here. That's going to be gorgeous. So yes, the Hatbox Ghost. And this is definitely a color that I associate with the Hatbox Ghost, because we normally see him more in his like kind of ghoulishly green and blue and black type of look. And so, yes, very, very excited for that scheme. I will show you a update on my sweater in just a moment, but I do have a Manga Advent Calendar packet to open with you today. This is the last one for my Manga Advent Calendar. So I usually have a Vanessa Advent to open with you today, but I don't seem to have one for today. There are only 2 other packages in the box. One of them is labeled 24th. The other is labeled 25th. So I'll definitely be opening those with you next week. But for now, we're just going to open my last Manga Advent Calendar packet for this month. Daughter says that the theme for this packet is seasonal. So both of these volumes have something to do with the season. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so I'm really curious to see what she pulled for me. Oh. Okay. So these are 2 volumes from the same series. Night of the Ice, volumes 4 and volume 5. So if I'm not mistaken, I read Night of the Ice for the Manga Advent Calendar. Was it last year? Volume 1 and 2 maybe. Then I think I read volume 3 after. I can't remember, but this is a series about our character here who's an ice skater. And he's like heading towards the Olympics, but he cannot land his quadruple jumps without having his friend kind of vocalize his most favorite magical girl slogan from the side of the rink. And so this story kind of follows his journey on the way to the Olympics and her supporting him and the trials and tribulations of her not being in like the sports like realm, but still trying to support him where and how she can, and then romance between the 2 of them. And so I really enjoyed what I've read of this series so far, and I really am excited to get back to this series. This is one series that I definitely would like to complete soon, but I've just got so many series on the go. You know how that goes. And so I'm glad that she chose more volumes of this for me to read. And I'm looking forward to reading more with these characters. So, especially with the whole like Olympics year coming up, even though it's Summer Olympics and not winter, which is when I read some of this series, I think. I am really looking forward to it. So, yes. that is going to be fun and definitely makes sense with the whole ice skating. But yeah, that is everything that I have as far as the Advent. So now let's get into some knitting. So I was able to put in a chunk of work on my sweater yesterday. I did have to take some time to wind up some of the skeins because I had reached the point where I had already caught up to everything that I wound. So I did take some time to wind the skeins, and so this is the Rainbow Ring sweater by Stephen West, again, in my Fangirl Fibers Residents of the Haunted Mansion yarn advent calendar. So this is always so hard to show you. Okay, so I was right here when I talked to you last, so I was just starting to put in this round, and now I am down here. So I just started to put in this round right here. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days worth of yarn. But yeah, I'm really loving that pink section. Really, really loving that pink section. I have about this much from the underarm. So I'm really interested to see where I'm going to be once I put in all of the colors, because I don't know if I'm going to be close to the 19 inches or not. I could probably figure out if I did a little math and counted the rows and all of that, but I'm just going to let the project take me where it takes me and then figure out what to do after. But if this is not long enough by the time I put in all of the residents, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to start putting in rows from the residents going backwards. So like once I have number 31 in and I need more, if I go back to number 30 and start working backwards again. Because I think if I go back to day 1, it's so bright up here. I don't think I want a section of these really light colors down here where we're getting much darker tones. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments what you would do, because I don't think that I will need all of the residents for my sleeve. Again, I'm going to have to go and measure a sleeve on one of my sweaters, but I don't think my sleeves are as long as my sweater, because I don't like to have the sleeve go over. So I normally like for it to end like right here. I can go a little bit more, but I don't like it to be much longer, and I don't like it to be all scrunched up either when I'm wearing the sweater. So yeah, still very happy with how this looks. And again, that pink section is just like, I'm really, really enjoying it. And super dark burgundy over here. So yes, very, very happy with that so far. So I'm really excited for this. It is looking really nice. Though I'm kind of like a little bit disappointed with the pastel colors up here. But what are you going to do, right? Yeah. So that's my rainbow ring so far. So this has been a really, really fun project. Not only because it has meaning for me because of the whole residence of the Haunted Mansion and how Haunted Mansion is one of my favorite rides. And I'm very familiar with all of the characters that I've been pulling out so far. Except for a couple. A couple were really interesting to me, but I learned something new. New people. I'm trying to think back at like all of the characters that we've been through, and I'm kind of wondering like who we've got left, because I thought about the Hatbox Ghost and I thought he'd be the last day, but he's not. So we've still got in the stretching room, there's a guy on dynamite, I think. Guys on dynamite? Guy on a dynamite, like pile of dynamite, I think. There's the two guys that shoot each other in the ballroom. The two ghosts from the portraits that kind of turn around and have a duel. And then there could be like a couple of the creatures that are in the graveyard section before you turn to have the Grim Grinning Ghost follow you home. So I'm very curious to see who our final characters will be. We've got two more packets to open. So very curious to see where this is going to end up. And I've just been really, really enjoying this Advent. I do already have an idea for which Advent I want to pick up next year. But we'll see if that happens. There's been an announcement made about what somebody's Advent is going to be, and it is perfect for me. So I thought about skipping Advents next year, but with this particular one, it is just so me that I absolutely have to get it. So hopefully I'll be able to get that one and not miss the train on it. But this has been really fun. I've really felt like I lost my knitting mojo like the past couple years, I would say. And for a while there, I wasn't even knitting at all this year. And so getting into a project like this has just been so, like, kind of comforting, really. Because it's taking me back to something that I really enjoy doing. I'm finding a lot of inspiration with this pattern, with this project, and just really enjoying seeing all of the colors and knowing that each row is related to a character. So I think wearing this sweater is going to be more meaningful for me because of that also. But it's really kind of rekindled my want to work on projects. And so, you know, I always have those years where it's hard to balance my hobbies because I have reading, I have knitting, and I have video games. And you need time. You need time to do all of it. And while I am somebody that can knit and listen to an audiobook or watch a television show, I cannot knit and read a physical book or a manga. So reading can sometimes take a back seat, like how it has been. I really didn't read last night because I was working on this project. And it just got so late where I was just too tired to read. But I would say for the most part, this year has been mostly reading for me. And I find that with my hobbies, if it's a mostly reading year, the other hobbies suffer. If it's a mostly knitting year, the other hobbies suffer. I've just recently got back into video game playing. And so I've kind of got to like get time in there for that also because I've been really enjoying it. But it's just like hard to balance your hobbies. I kind of wish I was that, person that only had one. Could dedicate all of my time to that hobby and, enjoy that one hobby. But I enjoy lots of things. And so I definitely want to make sure that I make more time for knitting in the next year, even though I don't find that I'm like reading outside of obligation reading for the Monochrome Manga Club and right before bed and during my lunch break. So I don't know where I can cut back from reading, but we'll just see how it goes. I am feeling very inspired. I am feeling inspired to finish projects. I've been thinking about sock knitting, and I'm just like, I've got the itch to cast on a pair of socks because one of the podcasts that I watch is the Bakery Bears. I'm a patron of theirs, and they have an advent calendar that they do, which is basically like kind of a Vlogmas style, except it's like themed, and there's always a knit along, and I never participate in the knit along because I can never get it done in time. And this year it's a pair of socks, and I feel like I really want to cast a pair of those socks on, but I have like 4 or 5 pairs of unfinished socks. So I really feel like I need to finish those socks first, or at least one pair before I cast on the socks for the podcast. But yeah, it's the same struggles that I normally have, just a different day. On the other hand, I have been being harassed by social media promoters or something like that. I've been getting a ton of emails and messages from these people who are social media promoters, and they're all like trying to sell me their services, but in doing that, they're taking clips from my videos and showing me like, this is what's wrong with this is what's wrong with this, your thumbnails are ugly. And I'm just like, dude, my thumbnails are mostly pictures of me, so thanks for telling me that I'm ugly. I already know this, but really, you're trying to sell me your services by telling me I'm ugly? Yeah, no thank you. I don't know why everybody seems to think that if you're on YouTube, your ultimate goal is to get monetized. Like, you can't just be on YouTube to talk to people, share your thoughts on things that you enjoy. Like, why? Like, I've been on YouTube for like 8 years. Is it 8 years? You know, I have a small community, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you that spend time with me every week. But these social media promoters are just like vicious. They're vicious. One even joined my personal Discord, and I'm just like, dude, you're not invited. Like, and all of them tell me the same thing. Your thumbnails are ugly. You don't do this. How do you expect to be found in social media? You know, this is what's wrong with your video. This is why you don't have a bigger audience. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I am thankful for what I have. If I don't get monetized, I don't get monetized. I'm not here for this to be a second job. I'm here to share my passions with you, to talk to you about books and manga and the projects that I'm working on and video games sometimes. Like, that's why I keep coming back and making videos. So, like I said, thank you to every single one of you that take time out of your day to spend with me and hear me talk about the books that I'm reading, the manga that I'm reading, the projects that I'm working on, and the video games that I like to play, because I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. And so I think that's where I'm going to leave it for today. It's almost time for Vlogmas to be over. I will be filming Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then I also will be putting together my TBR for the Phase Out Your TBR readathon that's being hosted by Chris's Corner. The next round is in January, so I definitely want to put a TBR together for that. So I will film for you that whole setup and all of that, my plans for that, as well as the last 2 days of Vlogmas for you next week. So I hope you are all having an amazing week. By the time you see this, Christmas will be over. So I hope you had an amazing day, whatever you were doing, whether you were celebrating or not. And I will see you again in the new year. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.